Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Sorry I didn't upload this one yesterday. This is technically from day 2 and we've now just finished day 3 of the wildrift Icons Global Championship. As you might be able to hear, my voice has been pretty grim and yesterday was the absolute height of losing my voice. I could barely talk at the end of the day after work. So I thought I would rather do this today, and I'll upload one during the daytime tomorrow, and then I'll also do day 4 at the end of the day tomorrow as well. So this was a series from day 2. By the way, thanks to G2A for sponsoring the channel. Reference link in the description below. That's my catchphrase now, so really should open up the video with my catchphrase, but there we go. I didn't forget that was my catchphrase. Came back to me. So this was a series from day 2. I didn't watch all of it. I like to do these videos kind of looking at it for the first time, despite kind of knowing the outcome. I didn't kind of look at the details of the match because I like to analyze it on the fly like I would have been doing if I was casting. But this was a series that was a little more interesting than one might expect. So I'm pretty keen to kind of go into it and look at it. First of all, let's look at the draft of the first game. So we have Furious playing a Set, Riven, Karma, Tristana, and Nami game. Now, in my eyes, when you look at this draft, like, Karma is never going to be a high damage dealing mid laner. Karma is always supportive. However, Karma in combinations with mobile bruisers is really good. So Karma plus Set, Karma plus Riven, really, really good. And also, Karma plus Tristana is really nice too, especially if Tristana is looking for resets. You know, so this team screams kind of like cluster team fight. What you want Karma to do is just shield Riven and Set with her empowered shield. They run in super quick, and then you just body them. Like, you just get Karma and so you get Set and Riven with the Karma ultimate just going to town on a 5v5 team fight or a skirmish, and then Tristana's there at the back with her extended range, just trying to pick people off where she can. The only thing that you have to be a little worried about versus the Nova composition is that, you know, a flank from Renekton or a flank from Kha'Zix could put Tristana in an awkward spot, because there's no way that Riven and Set are playing defensively, right? They are super offensive champions who are designed to kind of go all in and get the burst damage off, and then kind of hope they win the fight off their first or second combos. Otherwise, you know, you're kind of done. So I'm expecting Furious to want to fight objectives. I'm expecting them to want to play away from side lanes. Like, this is a team that's going to want to fight. They're going to want to brawl, especially early on. And then they always have Tristana for the later game. Sorry, my chest. You look at Nova, they've just got like loads of scaling. So Ziggs and Corki scale incredibly well, as does Kha'Zix. You know, Renekton scales better than he used to. This is definitely a team that is not really going to want to fight the first few objectives. You know, I would not expect Nova to want to actively contest first Dragon or first Rift Herald, or basically they want to be away from Furious Gaming as much as they can. You know, I think Nova will want to avoid Furious Gaming unless they can snowball the Renekton and snowball the Kha'Zix. They will kind of want to avoid the 5v5 team fights until you've got at least 2.5, 3 items on your Corki and your Ziggs. Once you've got your items on your Ziggs and Corki, you outrange Furious Gaming really hard, so you can get a lot of damage done. And Furious, they won't be able to just press a button and kill you. Like, they need to find a good engage, right? They need to find an opportunity where someone overextends, or it's feasible to just run at them. There's no button that you can press on Furious Gaming that suddenly engages, you know, like a Malphite. This team will just run at you, albeit they'll run at you quickly. Furious Gaming is going to run at you quickly, but they're quite telegraphed in terms of when they want to make an engage happen, right? You know when Furious Gaming want to fight, because they're just going to put shields on their bruisers, and then those bruisers are going to run at you. For Nova, it's just about keeping that distance. You've got plenty of disengage. Your Corki and Ziggs are pretty good at disengaging themselves. You have the Gragas barrel, and you have the slipperiness of the Kha'Zix. Like, if Nova don't want to get engaged on, they don't have to. But the one thing that Nova has to be aware of is they really don't want to let this game run away from them in the sort of the first 8 to 10 minutes, because they're a team that needs a bit of time to scale. One thing that Nova do have going for them is quite a strong top side. Kha'Zix Renekton is a really nice little combo, and if Renekton can get ahead of the set, you can play around your top side for the most part, and then just allow your Corki and Ziggs free time to scale. In terms of who I think has got the better draft here, I think the easier to execute draft is Nova, because you don't have to do anything. Like for Nova, you just play safe and you chill and then you win, right? That's kind of where Nova are at. With Furious Gaming, they are the ones that kind of have to make something happen. I'm just gonna check the FPS here because it kind of feels like it's a bit one. Like the FPS is, it might have just been that camera angle because something was going on there. Right, so let's get into game. Right, we're 23 seconds into game. So it's Karma bot, Tristana mid. Interesting. And this makes a little bit more sense. I actually probably would have just kept Tristana bot. Like, the wave will shove, but Tristana shoves waves really hard herself, and you're always going to have, in my eyes, a slightly better 2v2. Just because you should be able to zone with the Nami a bit more effectively, but I really, really like the Nova bot lane. They're playing super aggressively, and just like, especially Yami, who's just stepping up and saying, "I'll throw barrels at you, and I will go in." So Libra just didn't respect the level 2 of a Renekton. Pretty common mistake. That's the problem with Set. I think, Renekton's early brawling power is very, very good, although Set, right here, like, I like that Yeez, I think we can call him Yeez, or Y1. I like that Yeez kind of dives in with the stun and then knows that there's no point taking like an extended trade here, because he doesn't want to get slapped by the haymaker. I feel like Echo could have maybe made a gank happen there. I think he was just a little too keen on getting whatever jungle clear that he's going for. Very interesting that he didn't even try. Yeez showed that he was trying to overextend, wasn't really bothered about overextending too much in those trades. So I think there could have been a play for Echo to kind of go for like or Eco to kind of go for like a gank. Yeah, they got the support of Kha'Zix, who's very, very close. Oh, he's level 5 now. Gonna evolve those claws. Going to remake. Here comes Kha'Zix. Echo over the wall. And yeah, you're never going to win that, especially versus a level 5 Kha'Zix at this stage. Just got to be a little respectful. Did have the roam down from Prussia. Whenever you're playing with a Z, you're like, okay, how do we get gold onto the Z during the opening levels? So Yami just body slammed over the wall there. That's what they need to do with Prussia. Yeah, he's on a ward. He'll be fine though. So right now, like, Long is a little ahead in the jungle, just because Riven didn't clear her own blue buff for some reason, and it's kind of like made her pathing a little awkward. That was a good buffered jump. I think Yami might just straight up die here. That was a beautiful double stun from Libra. What a great roam from him. And they'll get their second kill. Prussia will just jump straight out. That was spicy. That was some nice stuff from FG, and it's still pre 4 minutes, right? So you're not even going to lose your tower here. In fact, you didn't even lose that many minions. All right, watch this. I'm not actually sure what Nova wanted to accomplish, but this is beautiful. That this right here, that was so nice. That was a triple stun from Libra. And again, like we talked about it, the brawling potential of the Furious Gaming team is just way better. Like, if you don't have Renekton with you as Nova, you do not want to get locked into a brawl at this stage in the game. Like, they have just got the better brawling comp at this stage in the game. So if you're Nova, you don't actually want to fight them. By the way, guys, I have been seeing this Corki build all the time. Hullbreaker Corki, and then you just stick him in a side lane. It's like Hullbreaker Black Cleaver. It's like this Chinese build that everyone's now copying. It's very interesting. I don't think it works massively well in solo queue, because you're never gonna, like, in solo queue, the whole idea of randomly split pushing by yourself and making massive use out of Hullbreaker very rarely works, because your team decide to fight 4v5 at objectives anyway. So I understand the pain of like Hullbreaker being a little bad in solo queue, because ultimately your team don't actually play around it very well. One of the benefits, one of the things that's still going quite well for Nova right now, is that Yeez is not ahead, but he's not behind, right? He's even with his laner, which is pretty good. And this is going to be kind of the interesting part of the game. Like, what do we expect? I think Furious, they're already grouping, right? They already know that, like, they just want to be on this objective and make it happen. We'll have to trade top lane tower, and I think what I like from Nova is they're like, well, look, we don't want to be part of this. Though I say that they've got the package. I don't know why Nova wants to fight this. I mean, they might be able to outskill Furious. I actually just think they straight up lose. Furious are being so careful, though, because of the package. I think that's one of the things that Corki does for you, especially if you've got a scaling team. Something that I didn't mention in draft is that just the threat of the package is enough to kind of like force teams that want to fight very early the dragon away from doing so. And somehow Nova have basically got away with it, whilst having Renekton stuck to the top side of the map anyway. I don't know. I know package is a big deal, but your champions are just better at this stage in the game in skirmishing. No, I don't know why they decided to like bail on that so hard, especially because Yee's barely moved. Like he stayed on the top side of the map the whole time. So I feel like that was a mistake, right? From Furious. They probably should have just committed the set and said, okay, if we trade top lane tier 1, we trade top lane tier 1. Because ultimately, if you're a team that wants to really secure objectives and fight around them, then you know that you're going to have to make trade-offs like this at this stage in the game. And now Nova might even get this first Rift Herald. This doesn't feel like this should happen when you've got a Ziggs and I mean, look, I know Ziggs Luden's Echo Spike is good, but a Corki Hullbreaker isn't exactly killing it, you know. It's not exactly insane. I just think the threat of the package was enough to say that Furious Gaming were a little worried about it. They're going to force the flash out of him. That was nice. They should be able to pick up first turret with the next minion wave. It's going to be close, actually. I feel like they need to commit to this. I feel like you need something. You're going to see Yee's roaming down, but you do have the wave clear of a Karma. Oh, they got baited. They actually got straight up baited. I feel like Furious are just not playing the map very well here. Like, you make that play on Corki, you commit 3 members of the team to bot side of the map, you have to take the tower. Like, I know there was the threat of the Rift Herald getting dropped mid, but you've got a Karma. Like, that's not bad. And now you lose first tower of the game anyway on top side. I feel like you could have just gone for it on bottom side of the map, you know?
Well, he doesn't get it. Still up. Wow. Need a few more waves, but
interesting. Yeah, it's going to be Black Cleaver second Corki, I think. And because he's got the Hullbreaker passive right now, he's very difficult to fight. Sorry, guys.
No kills. Head and go.
I think Nova have been like.
That's WRL. That's a macro.
I don't know what's going on with the FPS of this stream, by the way. I'm going to quickly close something.
Even so much that Fury Gaming are like scary to them.
The FPS of this stream is a bit, yeah.
So why accept the fight?
Maybe the Twitch VOD's better, but I find the Twitch VOD more. I find Twitch VODs like really annoying to have to kind of like cycle through. Whereas I prefer YouTube VODs because I find them a lot easier to kind of like navigate to different parts. But I mean, you've given so much tempo and so much map control over to a team that wants to scale. They have more experience across the board in general as well. I mean, you have to fight next Drake if you're Furious, in my opinion. I think you kind of have to just say, right, like we really need to get ahead here. The only thing that they kind of maybe have working for them is that they. Oh, I think they lose mid lane tower here as well. I don't think Furious are roaming the map. I think they're playing the map horrendously, and you can see they're desperate now. Like, they've just gone for it because they're desperate. I think they just played really badly around the first objective. Like, you should never have given. It's really nice to pick up a kill here, but again, Ziggs makes it very difficult to convert it into anything. You really don't want to have this kind of team and just like. Also, Rod of Ages Nami first. It's interesting. Yeah, you really don't. I would have gone Staff of Flowing Water personally, just because it's going to benefit the Karma massively as well. You really don't want to have this kind of team and then just say, nah, F it, we aren't going to fight at first objectives or fight or skirmish ever. And you can see that they were desperate to try and force a skirmish because look, the longer this game goes, the worse it gets for Furious Gaming. Nova haven't even got a kill. Nova are winning this game by just pure map control, like playing the map well. They are rotating their team much more efficiently and much more effectively than Nova. You know, I think Furious Gaming are losing so many resources by just randomly rotating their team between mid and bot and bot and mid, but not actually getting anything for it. And so they're losing out on like wasted lane XP. They're not farming the jungle efficiently on rotation. You see Libra here. He's gonna flash away. I think he you know, what's really interesting is that Furious still win the team fights. You see that? Even when they get the jump on Libra, Furious are still winning these team fights. Which is really interesting, because that's kind of what we expected this to be the case. And now they're not, and because the Corki package has been timed so well, they're not even going to want to fight for this second dragon, but they have to. That's the problem. They kind of just have to. Are they going to teleport back in? No. Corki package is going to isolate Riven completely. Oh. Yeah, and this game's over now. Furious. They've given away too many free too much free map power and too many free objectives. But you could still see that, like, if Furious were just able to get the fights, like, they were so worried about the Corki package, but sometimes you kind of have to just say, well, we need to deal with that. Corki package should not be an automatic, that's a free objective for us, right? Or at least you should trade. Like, Corki can't be in two objectives at once. And you can see they're going for it now, because, again, they kind of have to. Whether they think they can... I mean, they're still going for it. The problem is they're just not all on the same page. Karma is also a really, really terrible AP damage dealer. Like, to have Karma as your main AP damage threat is really bad, because she just doesn't do it. She just doesn't do enough damage. I think also Corki's had too long in the side lane to get free gold and free experience at this point. And that's like... The way that Furious needed to play these team fights was Furious needed to run in as like I call it like a death ball. They needed to death. Have any of you ever played StarCraft 2, where you had the Protoss? Wow, what were they called? The laser, the walkers that had the lasers. I can't remember what they were called. But like when you just built mass those, everyone called it a death ball strategy, because all you do is you just group them all up together and run at the enemy and just hope that those lasers killed literally everything. And that's the problem with FG right here, is that you kind of want to death ball your comp. You kind of just want to have Riven and Set sat on top of each other with Karma shields. You run them in, and then you give space to Karma and the Tristana from the back. Like, Riven and Set should be playing, like, distraction duty whilst dealing as much damage as possible and allowing, like, resets to happen for Tristana and for Karma to get as much damage and as good of ultimate as possible. Actually, interestingly, that the 2.5k damage was dealt by Karma in that last fight, so she actually did quite a decent amount of damage. I just feel like Karma as your major AP threat is just a bit meh. And Remake is getting away with a tier Ludens build, which delays the power spike of Ziggs massively. Like, getting away with a tier Ludens build, it makes Ziggs feel so useless for longer than he needs to, but it makes him feel so much stronger in the late game. And you see, Libra's just too weak now. That's the problem. You've given too much time now over to this Nova roster where they can fire at you from range. Like, there's nothing you can do as Furious in this situation. And the FPS of this stream is really bad. I wonder if I can check the Twitch VOD. I might switch over to Twitch. Wait here, guys. All right, we're back on Twitch. Yeah, I mean, they're too far behind versus a comp that's scaled too well at this point. I will say that Zig's trying to go 2v1. Ah, he's got stasis. I feel like this game, like, Furious absolutely could have won, but they They just didn't play around. They were just too scared of Corky package. Like, it's not that it's scary, don't get me wrong, but it's not like a deal breaker. Like, you just need to find a way to like bait the Corky package out. Like, you need to try and at least actively attempt to bait the Corky package. You can't just say, well, Corky package is up, so we give up. I mean, credit to Nova for just calling the bluff and saying, well, they're not going to engage, so let's just do it. I feel like though you've got to try and bait the Corky package. You've got to blow some flashes, or throw a tidal wave down to just try and get Corky to use it defensively in the wrong spot, and then suddenly you're on a really strong spot for or really strong setup for a dragon. And I think Nova are now at Divine Sunder a Corky as well. Not even Rabadons. We've gone Oblivion Orb into Needlessly, which I assume is going to Rabadons now. Such a greedy Ziggs build, and they got away with it. There's so much time in this game where Ziggs was just not going to deal the damage necessary to be a strong teamfight threat, but Nova completely got away with it in this game because I think Furious just was scared. They were too scared. With a comp that really needed to be the opposite of scared. This is like the ultimate Giga Chad comp. You just need to throw Riven and Set at their faces and then hope Tristana and Karma have got the brains to follow up, which I'm sure they do. They're all pro players. I think it's just unfortunately now a kind of a time game to when Nova can actually win. Because they don't, FG don't scale particularly well outside of Tristana. So like FG really don't scale particularly well outside of Tristana. Everybody else in their team is either like mid-game spike or quite difficult to make work in late game. So like Riven technically scales well in terms of damage output, but actually making Riven work in a late game team fight effectively is quite difficult without getting a good flank or something. So the only like really good like front to back type damage dealer they've got is Prussia, and he's going to get matched by Ziggs and Corky in terms of damage output easily. And then if he's like even a shred of out of position, you've got a 304 almost full item build Kha'Zix who will probably just kill you as well. But Nova playing this very safe. I think they just want to take the Baron and say that's it. And I think if you're FG, you kind of just have to be like Hail Mary Baron attempt or Hail Mary, fight at the Baron. You're in an awkward spot here with the vision is, your vision has never moved outside of your jungle for about 7 minutes. So you can't just randomly go and check the Baron. You can see that. I mean, Libra needs to do this, right? But I mean, that when you lose half your HP to a Ziggs ult and it doesn't even hit you in the center, you're pretty doomed. This is the kind of fight that maybe 10 minutes ago Furious probably would have won, but they just couldn't find the fights in the early game, which again gave too much time to Nova. And that's why I said in the draft, I just think Nova's comp is safer and easier to execute. One of the things that I really love to talk about in Wild Rift, and something actually the caster desk has mentioned, is this ease of execution. You don't want to pick something that requires lots of moving parts to go your way. You want to pick something that at the end of the day you just have super scaling, or you can just sit back and fire your missiles, your bombs, and end up winning. Like the team fight for Nova is so simple. It's just keep poking them for as long as you can, and then just land a good Ziggs ultimate. And that's basically your game plan. Renekton can do whatever the F he wants, and so can Kha'Zix. Whereas Furious Gaming's game plan had to be, right, well, we need to like skirmish or 5v5 around early objectives. We either need to like tower dive and snowball on towers, and we need to kind of force our team fights with Karma Shield on the Riven and the Set kind of at the same time, because we don't want to split up. We want to make the most impact with our engages. Like there's so many things that can go wrong, and you saw it in this game. There are so many things that can go wrong with this comp from Furious Gaming. It either has to snowball Riven or snowball the whole team off kind of having a better early game team fight, or ultimately look, Ziggs has already won the team fight with one ability. What are you going to do if you're Furious Gaming when you've just lost half your HP on 4 members from one ability from the enemy team? Literally nothing you can do. And that'll be it for the first game. I need another drink, by the way, guys. I don't know if you can tell. But, I mean, to me, that was just an easier comp to play from Nova. They didn't need to do anything. They just need to do it. They basically needed to make sure that Furious Gaming didn't do anything. And if Furious Gaming didn't do anything because they were too scared of the Corki package, then Nova just basically auto-win, which they did. Sorry, guys. I am not doing good today. Okay, so this is the second game. Furious Gaming on blue side again. And I'm going to just quickly adjust because I've obviously switched over to Twitch. And I didn't adjust this, so you probably missed half the screen a second ago. But I think that should now cover everything. Okay, so Furious Gaming, Jace, Jax, Zed, Orianna, Alistair. First of all, Orianna is an excellent AP carry bot. She has incredible scaling, and she's going to provide you with really, really, really consistent damage output in team fights. She's a very strong AP bot threat if you're running a very AD-heavy top, which indeed Furious Gaming are. And it's essentially a carbon copy comp. I mean, you look at both of these teams, they are basically doing the same thing. The only thing is I think Furious Gaming does it better. Because, frankly, Nova, they have a stronger team fight, I would say, especially sort of earlier. I don't think that holds up later, the later the game goes. But, like, you know, play around Garen mid-game with Galio and Lucian, like, you're going to have a good time, right? That's a relatively good mid-game team fight comp. But, you know, and ultimately Furious Gaming probably don't want a team fight very much. They probably want to more play around side lanes. You know, you've got 3 strong solo lane options, which is more than you usually get in a comp. You've got a Jax who can split push, you've got a Jace who can do it effectively, and you've got a Zed who is also a really good solo laner. You look at Nova, which champion do you think can actually contest any one of those 3? Fiora. Fiora is the only one that can contest any one of those 3 as the game goes on. I would say that Garen can hold most of those, but he's never going to beat them unless he's like really fed. And Lucian is just going to lose to most of them. Like Lucian will lose to Zed in the late game unless he has a stasis, and even then, you know, Zed just gets out and then goes again when his ultimate's back off cooldown, so they're like 10 seconds. Jax can probably beat Lucian as the game progresses. The only person that Lucian might not struggle with is the Jace, which is, again, I think depends on how fed Jace is in the build that he goes. So ultimately, I think Furious Gaming have got the significantly stronger side lane options here, which are going to allow them, I think, as the game progresses, be able to exploit Nova across the map more effectively. And I think Nova, unless they are able to make something happen in the early game, they're the ones that are going to struggle as the game progresses. You know, Furious Gaming don't really need to get involved in crazy fights early. They just want to wave clear with Orianna mid and eventually transition probably their Zed and their Jason to side lanes and maybe have Jax just float between where he can. Let's see how it plays out, though. I think Furious Gaming have got the better comp. Wow, we're 2 minutes into the game. I completely... okay. Right. Wow, they went for a level 1 invade. That's really loud, actually. I'm going to drop the... I'm going to drop the sound coming out of Twitch. Okay. So... that's a pretty bad start for those guys. You know, Yeez has gone Garen mid, I assume. I think this is actually probably the best option. This is the best way that you can play this. You do the lane swap. You have Neum play into the Jace, which, you know, is a little harder for Jace to deal with. And then Zed into Garen. It's a very, very tough matchup for the Zed. Garen will win this matchup, so I think Nova have made the correct lane assignments here. I think, you know, as you can already see, Prussia just randomly took a crap ton of damage for no apparent reason. So I think overall this is stronger in the laning phase right now for Nova if they can keep up the pressure. And you can already see that, I mean, Alistair is a terrible, terrible laner. Like, Alistair is really bad in the laning phase. The only thing that works well for you with Alistair in the laning phase, oh my god, Prussia. The only thing that works well for you with Alistair in the laning phase is if you can find a combo, right? Ooh, I was expecting Long to maybe go for like a flash lunge there. But yeah, essentially, unless you can find a combo as Alistair and into a Galio, that's a little bit like of a tough ask. You know, into a Galio, that's definitely a tough ask. I think, you know, if you're Sartha and a Capo here, you just have to kind of be like, okay, we just have to weather the storm, and it is going to be a storm. Like you're against, technically, even though Galio's melee, he offers that right there, which is a ranged harass tool in combination with Ziggs bombs, which is going to be difficult. Prussia is really just going for it. I'm finding it super interesting that he just face tanks the Garen here. It's not working out particularly well for him. Might work out better for him when he's got his ultimate, though. Clearly playing around the Conqueror stacks version, you know. I think Conqueror stacks is probably better for him here. Yeez just wants to stop him backing. It's a bit awkward. So far, Nova doing okay, though. You know, they're at about nearly 1,000 gold up in the lead. I think that partly comes through to just some good lane assignments. You've got most of that sitting on the Garen because of how many times you've had to force the Zed back, because Prussia is really keen to just face tank you in the laning phase for some reason. We'll see what happens around the objective mark at 5 minutes, though. Right now, it's all chill. Loving this from... oh, he's exhausted him. Okay, if you just get out here, Libra, you're in a good spot. Although, oh no, missed the cannon minion. FF, go next. Actually, has to get Capo up here to support him. The ultimate dropped as well. Engaging on a Galio and a Garen feels pretty bad, Libra. You just kind of have to... whoa, oh, okay. First blood. I mean, that was a good lane gank by Long. Feel bad for Libra. It was a really good lane gank for Long. You don't have to worry about the turret going down, though, because it is pre-4 minutes. So we're not expecting this tower to fall. We just lose one plate, which is a pretty decent payout for Nova. Puts them at nearly 2,000 golden lead, about 1,500. And you can see Ziggs. Ziggs is like one of the safest solo laners in the game. Like, if you need to leave Ziggs alone, when I say solo laners, it's like 2v1 laners. If you need to leave Ziggs alone in the bot lane, he will just use his skills to wave clear into tower. And unless he's going to get dived by 3 people, he's going to be pretty safe. So we're going to get a Hull Breaker. My God, the Chinese teams love Hull Breaker. Hull Breaker Lucian first. We're getting a Black Cleaver Garen build, so I guess this is going to be Black Cleaver into either... I would assume armor. If I'm playing Garen in this game, I'm playing like Black Cleaver into armor, not going for that Sterex. Prussia really... he plays a very Baus style of gameplay, which is like, I don't really care if you're hitting me. All I want is the minion gold. Minions are more important than anything else. Very interesting. And Nian now thinks that he's got Libra on the edge, which he did. I mean, the exhaust into Lucian ultimate can be pretty devastating to deal with. And Prussia is going to match Yeez, keeping their resources on the bottom side of the map here. Not sure you want to go for your ultimate, though, and they're going to force the flash out of him. Yeah, I think it was wise to hold the ultimate for Prussia. Oh, just about gets out of it. That's the Galio ultimate down, and the Fiora ultimate down now as well. However, is that enough damage to now say just go for Dragon if you're Nova? I think you've just lost a lot of big ultimates here. Don't think it's super wise. I mean, you've just lost the tower, so I think with the fact that you've rotated Jace down, this is probably better from... I think it would have been fine for Nova if they hadn't lost a load of really important ultimates. And that was a nice exit by Prussia. Would have been fine for Nova if they hadn't lost a load of ultimates, but I think now you can see that Furious Gaming aren't really the strongest early team fighting team, and I think Nova know that. Which is why Nova, I think, went for that Dragon, but again, they just lost a couple of really important ultimates. I like this from Furious Gaming. You know, this is what they did. This is what they didn't do last game. Immediately trade for the other objective, and that is going to be really important for the Jax specifically, because that's a lot of gold for Jax. You know, Jax is a very gold hungry champion, so getting in the Rift Herald is really nice. But Nova are doing a great job of just getting towers. It's something that Furious Gaming didn't do a particularly good job of in the last game. They just weren't particularly strong at taking those towers. No real damage threat onto Yeez. He's just going to get away. It's a good start for Nova. They need to be like 5k in the lead, 4k in the lead at this point. Like they're the comp that I think doesn't want to let Furious Gaming get to late game. So Nova needs to keep the pressure up. The hard part for them now is the mid lane tier 1. You're against Noriana, who has got her tier and her Ludens. Again, everyone at Icon's loving these incredibly greedy builds. Yeez is by himself and overextended here. He's probably dead because he has used his flash. Yeah, he's dead. I mean, Eco's going for it. Has he got... Oh, he's got Counter-Strike. He's got Counter-Strike and he jumps away. And you can see Sarth is just doing his best. Wonder if Libra feels confident enough to go against Neon. He doesn't. Oh, wait. He's doing the culling exhaust combo again, but Libra gets out. Nice. And I think now Neon's, going to be forced to flash. Very interesting. All right. So, I need to go back a bit. Let's look at items. We've got Divine Sunderer finished, almost a Blade of the Ruined King finished for Long. So Long's got a decent amount of gold. I guess we are going towards Sterax. Is it going to be a Sterax build for Yeez? It kind of looks like it's going to be a Sterax build. I mean, we're getting a very late tier coming out from Remake. Tier bought after double amp tome. Very interesting. I guess tier stacks pretty quickly. You're going to catch out. Yeah, Yami, he's just dead. Nice. Furious Gaming taking the smaller opportunities in, like they didn't really do this in the last game. I think they were too scared sometimes to do like the catches and the setups around the middle of the map. Going to drop the Rift Tower. I mean, that's not going to take the tower, but it will get some gold for Eco, which is really nice. I do think one of the problems that Nova have got... Oh, they didn't even get the charge. That's absolutely devastating, man. That's so bad. That was like much needed gold for the Jacks. I think one of the problems with Nova is that because they're ahead, right? So when you're in a team that's ahead, you kind of want to keep forcing the issue so that you can continue to stay ahead. They don't really have, apart from, I don't know, like Galio maybe, they don't really have like a solid engage option. Like they don't really have anyone that you can kind of say like go, because Garen's a slow engager, right? He runs at you and it's obvious. Galio can maybe make it happen, but Galio's usually best at coming in with his ultimate, which relies on someone else to make the engage happen. So really, like, Nova they kind of have to force Furious to, like, come to them. Which, adverts, I forgot Twitch does adverts. I forgot what I was saying. The adverts went on for so long, I completely forgot what I was saying. Yeah, so I think Nova need to force Furious to come to them, and realistically, the only way that's going to happen is around Baron, right? Where it's going to really matter anyway is around Baron. And, if... What I'm loving from Furious right now is they're just like, yeah, we know that we don't really want to fight objectives. Like, we do actually need to stay away. That is, I mean, obviously Prussia knew he could get away there. But they're just like, we know we can't really fight objectives. This is what you should be doing as a comp like Furious. You just should be cross-mapping as much as possible. You're going to drop the Herald here. There's no way that you stop this. Although they are going to knock him away, but I don't think there's any way that you stop this easily. Oh, sorry, my back. I squeezed something and it hurt. Yeah. I think you maybe could have, but obviously the use of the Fiora ultimate was a little bit threatening for Capo. But Furious keeping themselves in punching range. Like, we're only 3k difference right now. Prussia is... Oh, okay. They'll use the Galio ultimate to get away. I don't know what... And Prussia is making some absolutely wild engages here. The man is an absolute madman. If Furious can get that mid lane tower, they'll open up the map to allow their solo laners to be a bit more aggressive. One of the things that I haven't really seen too much of from Furious so far is that... What? Oh my god. They are wild. Furious are just going for it for no apparent reason. I guess they were maybe trying to get a catch and set up for this dragon. I don't know. Are they rotating down, thinking that they're going to thinking that they know the Lucian's going up top? They want to fight this. They actually legit want to fight this. Wait, remake flashed. Dude, remake flashed did the mistake that I always make, which means flashing the wrong way for no apparent reason. I do that all the time. Nice to know that it's not just me that makes those mistakes. Okay, so they basically hijacked the dragon because Neon went top to catch some waves. So you lose a dragon here because Neon went top to catch some waves. That's the feels bad, man, if you're Nova. But you do have the Baron coming up relatively soon, but again, I think Furious Gaming have been much better at like catching side lane experience. They've been much more efficient at clearing the jungle. They are keeping themselves within touching distance of this game. Another set of adverts. My browser has encountered an error. All right, yeah, I think we are about here, right? Been really efficient at catching waves. Been really efficient at clearing the jungle. I think Orianna has gone through most of this game quietly farming up. And she's gonna be a really, really big threat the longer this game goes on. One of the few things that can effectively keep Nova at distance in team fights. And that's one of the problems. Like, even if we get to a team fight situation in the late game, eventually Orianna is just going to outspace the enemy team. Okay, so Capo's completely by himself here. That was a wild engage, and now Libra is dead as well. So they just lost 5v4 because Capo got separated by the Galio ultimate. Oh, I just wish they would play around their side lanes more. They've got such strong side lanes. Just start. I mean, the only problem is that when you're playing a side lane company, you don't have mid lane tower and you don't have any vision in the enemy jungle. It's very risky. They're going to go for Baron here. Wonder if you can stop it if you're Furious. Oh, Remake's getting taken low. That Baron is still half HP. Prussia's going in. By enough time. That was nice from Prussia. Actually stopped the Baron. So they made a really huge error in the enemy jungle. Are they straight up saying like, no, they're not. I think they need to get towers at this point. Like get top lane tower or something. Oh, is that? Yeah, that's. Oh, that is. He's dead, right? Yeah, he's dead. I was thinking that was a very risky move from Prussia, but then this man has been all about risky moves for the entire game. So why am I surprised? Still, greedy build Orianna is on the way. Just going for, I assume, Rabadon's Death Cap now. This is the standard meta that I'm seeing icons. It's Ludens, Seraphs, Oblivion Orb, Rabadons. So a later Rabadons, but it is a Rabadons that hits much harder. Very interesting to see that she's gone for the Locket. I think Locket is a really good way to try and counter Ziggs as much as you can. Good stuff from Libra as well. He's just pushing in that side lane right now. Trying to make it a little awkward for Nova to just go straight to the Baron because he wants to put pressure on that side of the map, which I think is really good. And this is what I wanted to see, like Zed in one lane, Jace in the other, and just do that over and over again. You don't have to overextend. You could just catch waves and push them and catch waves and push them. That's what I wanted to see. The problem that what's kind of hampering Furious Gaming at the moment right now, though, is their mid lane tower still stands for the enemy team, and Yeez is pretty strong. He's going to get caught out here, though. Oh, the full AD Garen, everybody. Seems really fair. That was an ambitious engage from Yami. Okay, I mean Jax is getting super strong. Oh no, Jax, you could have gone in. I think you actually could have won that, but they're playing it safe. I get it. And Jace is now beating Lucian in the side lane, even though he's like a million gold behind. This is the problem. Like, even when Lucian is like 3k gold up, he can't really handle any of these solo laners properly in the side lane as the game progresses. Really, really nice shockwave there. Don't know if do they get Yeez? I think the Ignite takes him down, right? Oh, he saves himself. He saves himself. That's mental. We've got the Elder Infernal spawning soon as well. I mean, Nova's still in a strong spot. They're not... I wouldn't say that they're definitely winning this game. I mean, you've definitely got the scaling of the Ziggs. You've just picked up the Rabadon's Death Cap, which is really nice. But Zed's at 10k, Jax is at 12k, Jace is at 12k, Oriana's at 11.5k. You got a lot of... Oh, he actually just straight up finished Morello's. I guess there's a lot of Blade of the Ruined Kings, right? Jax, this is right before Elder. Oh, okay, Garen's just used his ultimate. He's going to heal up here. Okay, Garen ultimate being down, at least for a little bit, is really nice because that means the threat of execution is a little lower at this point in time. And I think Capo's almost got his ultimate. You don't really want a team fight without having the Alistair ultimate ready to go. You see Echo's just taking a load of damage there. They have to go for this. They're going to go for it's insane. Okay, Stasis comes out. Yeez is doing a job on that side of the map. Capo's using his ultimate to the best of his effect. Flashes back over the wall. Really nice shockwave. You still have a really, really, really healthy Oriana. Are we going to get a teleport straight back in from Zed? No, they're going to back off. Oriana doing some serious work here. And that's going to be the case. The further this game goes down the line, if you don't have flashes available, Oriana will just space you in team fights. Like, she is going to create distance between you and her, with that ball being almost impossible to cross. There will be a barrier that you just can't push past if you're Nova. I think, again, a case of somehow Furious Gaming have been given too much time. There seems to be a trend in Icons with the team that has the better scaling comp overall in terms of the way they play the game, or even just the straight-up champions, tends to be the one that can kind of come away with the victory. Because the later objective times, the ability to just sit there and catch waves, it's working out well for teams that have that scaling option. All right, Baron and Elder Infernal up now. Remember, each team has one dragon apiece, I believe. I don't think the overlay is correct. I think Cloud Dragon went the way of Furious Gaming. Okay, Sartha by himself right now has to flash away. That was a really, really dumb place to be, but I think, unfortunately, the engage from Yami was a little too ham, and now Echo at this stage in the game is so strong. Look at him go. They're gonna get Elder Infernal, and they're gonna straight up teleport back in as well. I guess the play that Long has to make is buy teleport and hope that he can smite steal. I don't even think he's got an avenue to do that. There's another advert. I'm just listening to this, but ultimately, what really happened in this fight was that they thought they caught Oriana, and then Yami just massively overextended his taunt and was just instantly blown up. And once you lose the Galio in this fight, there is absolutely no way that you can keep a lid on Furious Gaming. But also, I just think that, like I said, ultimately Nova needed to do more early in the game. You won't win through Ziggs bombs alone in this game, because there are just too many good forms of engage from Furious Gaming. And you can see right here, going in again, he's just dead. And Lucian can't do anything against a Zed late game. It's almost impossible without stasis. Neither can a Ziggs, really. So Prussia just now able to get that quick kill, and there's the shockwave. Sartha, by the way, untouchable, like completely untouchable, really. Okay, this is an interesting play. He's just dead. Has got stasis, but don't think anybody else is getting away with this. Sartha still alive somehow. Garen tried to go for the ult. Execute didn't quite work. I think he had barrier. Not many people run barrier anymore, by the way. And finally, Nova gets some towers. Sorry, not Nova. Furious Gaming gets some towers. They didn't even have to split push this game. They've just lasted so long that their Oriana, who hasn't even got Rabadon's Death Cap, by the way, has gone Morello's into Void Staff. But Oriana now deals enough damage to be a significant threat in teamfights, and you've just got late game scaling activated, where in teamfight situations, the Oriana, like I said, is just going to completely beast your team because you can't threaten her well enough. And you have to deal with too many threats from the Furious Gaming side. Feels like it's going to be difficult for... Yeah. Okay, I mean, that's... If you're... Oh, he gets him as well out of the stasis. That was so nicely done by Prussia. That's the problem. Like, late game Zed does not give two flying hoots about your stasis. His ultimate cooldown is on, like... He's almost got his ultimate back up. How is that not broken, by the way? Stasis is supposed to be like a really good counter. And he already has his ultimate. He's just going to go on Neon. If he gets the chance, he's just going to go on Neon. Oh, he's going... yeah. I mean, Yami's just dead. Nothing that Long can do. Burnt the shockwaves. That's a pretty annoying, but... I think it's Baron time. The only thing that Nova can do is go for a steal. That's the only thing that Nova can do. They can maybe teleport the Ziggs in, but I think the only thing they can really do here is go for the steal. He's trying hard. Oh! he literally got in at the perfect time. That's going to delay the game so much for... I mean, I don't know how much it matters for Nova. But if they can make use of this Baron on the Ziggs especially, that could be some inhibitor towers. That could start to change the flow of the game a little bit. That's crazy. That might be a lifeline. That might be an actual lifeline for Nova. The only problem that I think that Nova are going to face here is that they didn't actually kill anyone. And... Oh. The Coca-Cola pop-off, everyone. Somehow got in at exactly the perfect time. Just over the wall. So good. Didn't have vision either. I don't think they had vision anyway. I think that must have been complete luck. Complete luck to get over the wall there. Stasis. And he gets him anyway. But he trades his life 1-for-1 there. And now Libra's a little bit overextended. Who has still got Baron? Yeez and Neon have still got Baron. Can they get anything worthwhile with this Baron? That's going to be the question, right? It's like, can you actually get something with this, or have you just delayed yourself losing the game a bit longer? Fiora has obviously got really good late game scaling as well, but I just think she's matched so easily by Jax that I don't think it matters. She's also farming and she's completely full build. She's like, yeah, my blue buff. Ziggs doesn't need this. I'm completely full build. Okay, I thought she was just going to leave it for Ziggs. But nope. That is a Fiora blue buff. Doesn't need the gold. Doesn't really need the blue buff, but she's going to take it anyway. Okay. They tried to play an advert and it's... For God's sake, how many adverts? Okay, I think this is about where we got to, right? Kind of where we got to. I mean, the problem is when you get to wildrift at this stage in the game basically cycles around when is Baron next up and who's going to get Baron. It's because there's nothing else that you'd ever want to fight over. Either you have to force a tower dive, or it's let's just wait till Baron comes and whoever dances the fiesta better at Baron wins the game. You could technically look for a split push angle, but it's just so easy to rotate. And no team has any reason to be outside of their own jungle rotating between lanes at this point. It's not like there's like a dragon or a Baron to think about contesting. Okay, bit of damage down. That's a good start for Nova. Prussia's like, I don't care. Oh, I thought he was going to go in on remake there. Okay, so Nova don't actually have any vision control of the Baron right now. But they know that Prussia was in mid, so they don't seem to too bothered about going for it. Okay, so they've just used Redemption, which I think is actually pretty big, because that's a nice objective. That's a nice thing to actually have in a team fight. And you can just see that both teams so nervous about actually pulling the wrong move here. But ultimately, no one has to really worry about minion waves yet either. It's not like you can just kind of wait the minion waves out and let them do their job. There's still a lot of towers between kind of like minions and Doom, which is kind of what you're expecting sometimes. I mean, they need to just get Sartha into a bit more of an aggressive spot. You know, they're going to push that top lane out. You're not going to do anything about bot lane, though, for the time being, but you do still have a bit of a tower on the bot side of the map to work with. I mean, ultimately, what Jace can do is push this wave in, back, go clear bot, and then come back to Baron, which I think is probably what he's going to do. Because you know that Nova's now got to go kind of clear their top lane, and so Jace is like, I can very effectively show bot, knowing that they aren't going to go for Baron, or at least not easily. Everyone is full build apart from the supports, and the supports are nearly full build. Somehow Galio has got like 2k gold more than Capo. Why would you ult Garen? That's a bit weird. I don't know why you'd randomly ult Garen. I suppose like you said, Prussia's cooldown is, well, it's half refreshed now, so Zed's ultimate is just like basically up at the same time as a long normal ability. Okay, Sartha escaped the majority of the damage there. Neon is very far extended. Jace. They're going to go 1-for-1 here, but we're going to get an engage. Okay. Jace is going to pick up the... Oh! He's 2v1. He's 2v1. He's already drawn the Lucian down here. They're going to go straight for Baron, and because they've got Jax at this stage of the game, and because they've got Orianna, they are going to get it. Probably able to back out here as well. That was that's classic split play. That's classic split push strategy right there. And honestly, Furious Gaming played it really well. Just draw attention. Draw two members to one side of the lane. Oh my god, the damage from he's gonna die, right? This feels like an overextension from Nova. They know he's got a GA. They know he's got a GA. These guys, the guys on the cast are very excited, and they've just let Eco split push his way. This is like the longest professional game of Wildrift I've ever watched, by the way, I think. Because it's just been, yeah, and he goes in, Lucian. Not much he can do about it, but he's got to use stasis, so he's going to survive for the time being, but he doesn't have stasis for a long time now, and Prussia is going to have his ultimate again in about 20 seconds.
We've watched 30 minutes of Wildrift. 30 minutes, and Furious Gaming are the closest team now to taking down a WRL region team. They would be the first team to do it, the first team to take a game off of China on the international stage. Making a statement piece in their debut matches.
I'm just watching. Because at this point, it feels like Furious Gaming should win. I don't see an easy way for, especially with Baron now, and the fact that you can very, very effectively. I mean, look, like I said, Jax can just match Fiora in the side lane, and honestly, there isn't much that Fiora can do about it. Again, just pops the counter strike. Oh, Fiora technically won that, but yeah, he had GA, so he probably knew that he could be a bit more risky. Long is going to die to minions eventually. And look at Sartha. He's just going to continue to batter from range. They're going to get mid lane tier 1. And they're going to get a nice little engage into tower. They're trying to take down the Orianna, but she's still got stasis. They're going to lose another tower. I think Furious Gaming are going to win. These guys are going mental. I have to turn them down. That's like really loud. You guys might not be able to hear it, but in my headphones, the casters are going absolutely mental. Damn.